The story I'm going to tell you begins during my high school years. We're talking 1993, we're talking Madison, Connecticut, and we're talking Daniel Hand High School. At this time, we had a yearly event called Teen Life Day. Teen Life Day was an opportunity for professionals to come into our building and provide workshops, lectures, and classes for high school kids. Sounds like a great idea. Some of my friends called it Teen Skip Day and did not attend. I was not allowed to miss school ever. I was there. So at this time, I was 15, a sophomore, just beginning to discover what was important to me, to decide the kind of person I wanted to become. And I have no recollection of signing up for this particular class, but on Teen Life Day, 1993, I find myself in a room with a woman who was a nutritionist. And she was tall, she was well-dressed, she was educated, she was clearly a professional. And she was trying to engage this room full of high school kids. Not always an easy thing to do. In the back row, there was a young man, a couple grades older, with his letter jacket on. He was a wrestler, and his name was Matt. And she said to him, "You're an athlete. You probably think a lot about nutrition. You probably think a lot about what goes in your body. What do you eat?" And Matt seemed totally caught off guard. But he was a good guy. And he responds, "Well, I eat a lot of carbs. I eat a lot of carbs. I eat a lot of bagels. To get carbs, I eat a lot of bagels." And she said, "Well, Matt, did you know? Did you know bagels made with refined white flour are essentially devoid of nutrition? You see, to make white flour, they take a wheat berry, which is a whole grain. They strip off the bran, which is the fiber, and they take out the germ, which is the protein, and they grind up what's left, which is straight, pure carbohydrate. In fact, our bodies process white flour the same way they process white sugar. So eating that bagel will increase your inflammation, spike your blood sugar, lead to insulin resistance, obesity, metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes. In addition, it will encourage the overgrowth of yeast on the inside and outside of your body. Matt, it would be smarter to eat a whole wheat bagel." Whoa. 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 What she said made immediate sense to me. What she said was something I did not know I did not know. What she said was a light bulb moment for me. I thought back to our bread label at home. Yeah, I'd read it. Back in the day before cell phones, you're sitting there having a sandwich. You read whatever's in front of you. And I could picture that long list of ingredients, some words I couldn't even pronounce. I thought, that's probably not so good. Her talk was one of the earliest steps on my journey to becoming a wellness educator. I believe that our health is our most important asset. I believe that what we eat has a profound effect on how we feel, how we think, how we look, how we play. I believe that our body's a temple. Maximize our wellness, and we are best able to bring our gifts to the world. This is the message I strive to deliver to students every day. I believe it is the most important thing they can learn. Before I move on, I want to touch on the culmination of Teen Life Day, equally memorable for different reasons. Our keynote speaker was a man named Kevin from an AIDS awareness organization in New Haven. This was the early 90s. AIDS awareness education was huge. Safe sex education was huge. And Kevin was here to teach us. Kevin was a phenomenal speaker. He was dynamic. He was captivating. He was engaging. He was hilarious. He had the entire auditorium in the palm of his hand. For his final act, Kevin took a condom out of his pocket, unwrapped it, and proceeded to stretch it over his head. The message, of course, being they always fit. Use them. Well, as you can imagine, the school went bananas. Kids were rolling in the aisles. It was mayhem. Our principal did not look pleased. But what an unforgettable end to Teen Life Day. The importance of nutrition and wellness came into greater focus for me 2 years later when my father died unexpectedly. My dad was a great guy. He was a big, strong man. He was a former Division I scholarship athlete. He was a pillar in our community. He was broad-shouldered, other-centered, selfless. My dad gave his gifts as an active member of our church, as a volunteer for several civic organizations, and as a coach in our youth football, youth lacrosse, and youth baseball leagues. People still come up to me and tell me that my dad was the best person they ever knew. In his early 30s, my dad developed a disease called aplastic anemia as a direct result of pesticide exposure. He lost the ability to produce platelets and red blood cells. He was given 6 months to live. Miraculously, his disease went into remission, and he was able to live 15 more years. 15 more living years to savor the beauty of life, to raise up 2 boys. Sweet time. My dad did not take good care of himself. I could see that as a kid. He didn't eat well. He didn't exercise. And by his mid-40s, years of the standard American diet had left his immune system shot. He picked up an aggressive bacteria at a routine hospital visit, and he was dead within 24 hours. This was September 18th, 1995. He was 48. 48. My dad's death rocked our family, but it caused us to grow in beautiful ways. It caused me to look deeply into the role of nutrition and lifestyle on our wellness. Every day, the work I do with young people as a teacher and as a coach is inspired by his death. When I look deep inside, I recognize that I have sadness that I was not able to save my father. I couldn't influence his life in a healthier direction. I couldn't take away his disease. I couldn't save my dad. I live with that. Equally, in my work with young people, and as I recognize the motivation behind what I do, I have to accept the fact that I cannot save them. I have to accept the fact that no matter how much I want to, I cannot save the young people I work with. But I am, as sure as heck, going to try. Yes, my dad's death scarred me deeply at 17. But in this life, our deepest wound is also the source of our greatest gift. The hardest things we go through become the best things. There's nothing more beautiful than a scar. I love what I teach. My goal is to inspire and empower young people to become passionate about their lifelong wellness. I want to give them skills and knowledge to live healthier lives. And that's not just nutritionally. That's how they build discipline, how they train, how they sleep, how they cultivate gratitude, staying away from drugs and alcohol. It's a lifestyle. Even though they're young, they're not too young to think about what goes in their body and how they live. And the habits we form as teenagers tend to become lifelong habits. So now, 30 years after Teen Life Day, and as I attempt to outlive my father, I get to stand in front of a room full of high school kids every day and seek to have the same profound, lifelong impact that woman had on me. That makes two of us. Thank you.